You can cross your fingers and all your toes during a data center migration. You can knock on wood, pluck a dozen four-leaf clovers, or look to your lucky stars for a successful office expansion. You could hold your breath, shut your eyes, and say all the well wishes to help avoid cyber attacks. But none of that truly helps you. Because Next Level Moments need the Next Level Network, with the security, reliability, and expertise to take your business further. AT&T Business, the network more businesses are choosing.
Bienvenidas al podcast Dos Bold Latinas. Aquí están sus hosts, Jatna Abreu
y Rosibel Madera Vialet, dos latinas feministas born in Santo Domingo y en New York.
Passionate about Latina empowerment, Spanglish,
learning, growth, and so much more. Hola, hola, bienvenido a nuestro primer episodio de Dos Volatinas.
¡Yay!
En donde van a poder encontrar y conocer un poquito más de nosotras. Aquí la dejo con mi BFF, Jatna.
Yay, thank you. So yeah, before we get started, we just wanted to make sure that we give you some information sobre like the things that we want to talk about, los topics que vamos a hablar todos los meses. So we want to make sure that you kind of get to know each other or get to know us before we actually start the podcast. So Rosie is going to share a little bit about herself, and then I'll share a little bit about me. So go ahead, Rosie.
Bueno, entonces yo nací en Manhattan, Nueva York, y me mudé a Grand Rapids, Michigan, cuando tenía 7 años. I went to Davenport University, based off here in Grand Rapids. So yes, we do live in Grand Rapids, the city of art, music, and beer.
And a lot of snow.
Yes, right now a snowstorm. So guys, we're recording under a huge snowstorm. Jana actually called me this morning. How do I get into your driveway?
It's true. I couldn't get in.
So we do have a passion to touch in your hearts. Anyways, let's keep a little bit more about me. So Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I obtained my bachelor's degree in healthcare administration and the master's business administration with a concentration in marketing. I love branding. So I did study abroad in China as my capstone. And since I love branding, I did grow up in the family grocery store called Burton Meat Farm, Cancia Latina, which my parents have been in business now for 20 years. And everything I have learned in college, I have applied it, which is what made me really fall in love with branding. So I've been helping my parents innovate their business, and it has really molded me to who I am, my character, my beliefs, and to being the woman that I am today. Currently, I am working at Amway North America in the sales department in a role called Leader Growth Solutions, where I partner with leaders to build healthy and sustainable businesses. Yet again, I don't have my own business yet. However, I am still in the field of helping business owners innovate their businesses. And personally, I am married now for 8 years. And I have
that's a long time.
And I have 2 gorgeous children, Maximus and Elizabeth. And let's say I just love finding people that are talented and helping them identify what their skill sets are and to turn that into dinero. Yay. So aquí la dejo con Jatna.
Well, thank you, Rosibel. Again, my name is Jatna Abreu, and yo nací en la República Dominicana, specifically in Santo Domingo, y me mudé a Grand Rapids, a la edad de 14 años. And I have a bachelor's in business administration from Grand Valley State University and a master's in organizational development from Western Michigan University. Yo, como Rosy, también trabajo en Amway, but I work in human resources as a senior talent management specialist. Y también soy la silla de Amway's Multicultural Inclusion Network. And recently, I was recognized by the Grand Rapids Business Journal as a 40 under 40 business leader, which I was not expecting. And during my free time, I actually mentored through a organization called Affinity Mentoring in Grand Rapids Public Schools. And then soy board member de la misma organización. And then I also help out my father-in-law with his nonprofit organization, which is called Changing Thirsty Lives, which also known as Casa Cristiana Leandra, que se encuentra en Santo Domingo. Él la fundó en Santo Domingo, en Consuelo. Y bueno, me gusta pasar mucho tiempo con mi esposo y con mi hijo de 3 años, que se llama Jebediah. Y on the fun things, I like to shop and I like to read a lot of women empowering books and watch my favorite shows on Netflix. But that's only when I have time because, again, I'm a mom, I work, and obviously I do a lot of other things. So why are we doing this, Rosie? Like, what's the goal for the podcast? And why do we want people to listen to us? What are we sharing with them?
Well, I love the word embrace. Someone a couple months ago, a good friend, he said, Rosie, you need to embrace who you are. And that word was just a game changer to me. So it comes back, we are 2 Latinas, and we want to help our ladies embrace their uniqueness. Right?
Yes, definitely.
Aren't we all unique?
Yes.
So I look at it, you may realize you are empowered by your own uniqueness. However, are you embracing it? That's a question I want you to ask yourself. Do you know that you're empowered? Did you know that you're unique? If you answered yes, yes, and yes, are you embracing it? Are you telling people what you want and why? We have personally overcame internal and external challenges to embrace whom we are and still got lots more to embrace. Therefore, 2 Bold Latinas will connect with you from heart to heart. We say heart to heart since we will avoid superficial conversations, those tough conversations that we really don't open up with many other women out there because we don't really know how they feel. So it's easy to see on social media or when we see at parties how people treat each other. But once we get to know that woman, we say, gosh, we got it good. So we want to hear laughter and tears of joy. And of course, tears that brings you back memories that connects with us.
Yes, so I completely agree. That's exactly what we want to do with, and for all of you Latinas out there, because we know that there's a lot of myths about Latinas and how, we should be living our lives because of our cultural background and what other people think and how society think we should basically look like or be like or just making sure that you live your life as your, with your authentic self. So because of that, some of the topics we will be covering in our episodes, throughout the year, every month is going to be about love, obviously, family, obviously, if you're a mom, mom life and how we do that, in education, career, personal development, and of course, a lot more. But when we do that, we will bring, special guests that from time to time will come in and help us basically bring you that knowledge and bring you those experiences so that, maybe you can relate to those and maybe you can get something out of those, those people that come in and talk about their knowledge and how and what they've gone through and maybe their expertise. And so every month we will have a specific topic and objectives to make sure that you get the information you need and the experiences that we have, as moms, as just working and being wives and just being Latinas overall. So, Rosie, I know that when some of the people that kind of knew that we were bringing out or like coming out with this podcast or just creating this podcast, they actually told us that they were looking for specific information about just because we're bringing this podcast during the month of February. They said, hey, maybe you should talk about love and like relationship and how if you're a mom or if you have a job or if you have, you go to college, you study, like how did you keep your relationship alive? So do you have any tips and tricks? And just as a tease, not necessarily like as in a specific podcast episode, we just wanted to give you some ideas on how you can keep your relationship, with your partner, if you're married or if you have a boyfriend. How do you keep that relationship alive if you have a lot of other things happening in your life? So there's about 4 to 5 tips and tricks, or about 6 that we can give you so that you can keep that alive. But what do you want to add to that, Rosie?
Yeah, so I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, Jana, we're already having requests on topics. So right away, WhatsApping her. I'm like, okay, this is what comes to mind. And I love it because it just came naturally. However, these are different things that have happened at different stages in my life. So don't think I'm superwoman. I'm doing them all right now. So number one, tell your man what you want, please. We always think that they can and should be able to read our minds, but they can't. So mujeres, díganle a tu macho lo que tú quieres, porque que ellos piensan diferente. Uno puede pensar en mil vainas a la vez y ellos están pensando en una sola cosita.
And no, and I do agree with Rosie though, because my husband specifically, he's not the type of, and I don't know how many women out there have a similar experience with their husbands, but like my husband is not necessarily the type of person that would go out of his way to be like super romantic and like just go out and buy me this and buy me that. It's like it has to be like a reminder. Like even like my sister has to remind him like, hey, whatever, Valentine's Day is coming up, like what are you getting Jatna? And so like, you know, those are the things that they don't necessarily think about. So you have to always give them some sort of hint, or like Rosie said, like tell them what you want and what you need. Otherwise they're not gonna do it, basically. So
Yes.
I agree with that tip.
So number two, which makes me feel really special. My husband, he's a super busy guy. He's an entrepreneur. So when he dedicates time to me, that's like, oh my gosh, you are giving me butterflies all over again in my tummy. So number two is, instead of staying at the office for lunch, go to lunch with your lover. Tell him that you're available and they will make the time. And that really does make me feel special. And surprisingly, there will be topics that you will talk about that I never thought I would really talk with him about at home.
And I think that if you can't, that's a great tip. And if you can't necessarily go to lunch with your hubby or with your significant other, I think one of the things you can always do throughout the day, if that doesn't happen, when you only see them at the end of the day, like when you get home, is that you can stay connected with them and you can send them text messages. You know, I'm thinking about you. Like, what are you doing? Just check up on each other and just make sure that you're still having, you're still communicating and having some sort of conversation throughout the day, just so that, you're still thinking about each other and you're still you still feel like you're important to each other. So I think if that's something you cannot do, just go to lunch, then just make sure that you're just checking up on your significant other and see what's going on.
All right. Love it. Moving on to number three. I'm
And this
laughing
is
at
a
this
good
one.
one. Yeah, 'cause this is a
I don't
good
want
one.
my son to find out our secrets. So when the kids are watching TV, do a quickie. Tell your kids, I'm going to give daddy a massage. So,
Hey.
so I don't know. That's our little thing. Like, hey, you want to go get a massage? There's our secret code. So build a secret code and just do a quickie. You need it. Mujeres, busquen esa oportunidad, aunque sea de 2 minutos, pero algo.
Yeah. I mean, even, like she said, like when the kids are watching TV or like if they're taking a nap, they're entertained doing something, just find that moment and, look at each other, and just that secret code that you guys have, just create one and then just go and get it done. You got to do what you got to do.
So talking about that, it's about releasing those hormones. Number 4, I remember in my college days, I would be super stressed about tests. And I don't know, it was just so weird. So I'm going to say number 4, when stressed for a test at school, have that passionate kiss and intimacy. Girl, you will go confident and ace that test, releasing those hormones. I don't know what it is, but to me, it was a game changer. I would say, why do I all of a sudden understand all this material?
And you feel a lot of energy and you're just like ready to, pretty much like conquer the world after that. Just because you got that, you just release those, like hormones, and you're just ready to get that task done, just because you got a little bit of time for the both of you. And you know that, you're pretty much ready for that next, whatever comes next.
Yes. So switching it up a little bit. This goes back to those mamas. So number 5, think back what you did do for each other and intentionally remind each other about it. To bring back that spark. Why did you guys fall in love? Like, why did you guys get married? Because all of that is hidden behind the sleepless nights with a child, packing food for kids, bathing them, feeding them. For me, not even remembering the last time I peed. So sometimes I could go a day without doing that. And yes, your life has changed after kids. However, bring it back to self love. Those hormones won't be the same after the kids grow up. So take care of yourself too. And your hubby, please take care of him. He is the one that will still be there with you once those kids grow up and have to leave out to college or just to build on their own lives, just like we did. So our hubbies are the ones that are going to be taking care of us when we're sick and so forth.
So we hope.
Yes. So I have learned to be positive. Just be positive because John, when you say this is not part of the tips, but I do want to add it in there. Something I have learned, I would always say, yeah, if we're still together. And girls, I have found that to be stressful. So I'm going to add this one on there. Stop thinking about, oh my gosh, we may get a divorce. It's not working out. Just be positive, and that will change it because the mind, just having a positive mindset, that's the vibe you're going to get, and your kids will feel it too. So even if you have issues going on, don't think about of instability. You need stability for yourself, mental health, and for your children.
Y yo creo que, based on what Rosie just mentioned right now, another thing, having those conversations with your significant other is that at the end of the day, like when you come home to like super tired, and then when you have your routine, like if you're parents, like right, like you have to make dinner, fit the kids, bathe them, and put them to bed. I think that at the end of the day, once you go to bed, one of the important things to do is to just like hablar con cada uno. So like if you go to bed and you're not able to go back to like just go to sleep, then just look at each other, like turn around, look at each other, and just have those conversations. And if you didn't talk to each other throughout the day, because obviously like you were both busy and it wasn't something that worked out that day, just look at each other and talk about, and ask your significant other, like how was your day? What did you do? Like, is there something I can help you with? Let's talk about. So any type of topic, I think you need to continue to have the conversation open, or, just like that channel open, so that at the end of the day, every night, if you're not able to go to sleep and you still have that moment where you two connect and have a conversation. It doesn't matter about what. I know I find that when we have conversation at nighttime, it's either first, like how was my day if I wasn't able to talk to him, and usually it's about Jebby. It's about Jebediah and like what he needs, and like, oh, can you believe that this happened at daycare today? I forgot to tell you. So things like that are the things that brings us together, and we're okay with that, like to still reconnect and have like that special time for the two of you. Like it doesn't really matter what you talk about, but you're still connecting at the end of the day.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that, Jatna. For me, some people call me I'm the softie in the relationship because I hold that true to my heart. I can't go to sleep mad at Ernie. I mean, Ernesto's my husband's name. I call him Ernie. But I just can't. I mean, I'm just very fearful of, oh my gosh, I mean, anything can happen. And I truly believe in live every day as if it's your last day. And guys, we were I do believe in my awesome God. And he united us, and live every day and cherish every single day, because one day you will look back and say, really, I lost a night of sleep because I was mad at him because he didn't take out the trash. That's not worth it. So let's just keep embracing who we are, and we do have more power than what we think with men. So having that simple gesture does make us powerful.
Yes, and I know that at the end of the day, it's hard, right? Like it's easy for us to sit here and say like, do this, do that, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But sometimes we do have to take a step back and just think about our lives and our future and what we have so far and how we want to change that for the best. Because again, at the end of the day, like if you have a significant other, or you're married and you have kids, like you have a family, so that's your life. And so you have to make the best of it and make sure that you're getting, you're giving them what they need, but you're also getting what you need out of your family as well. So it's just taking that time and making sure that you make those connections and you make time for each other, because like Rosie mentioned, like at the end of the day, if that is the person you're going to stay with, for the rest of your life, then that's going to be the person that's going to be next to you when your kids, move out, grow up and go to college, or, whatever they may end up doing. Like that's going to be the person like next to you and who will pretty much take care of you. So yeah, it is what it is. You got to do those things. And then lastly, we do have another tip, and it's that, and it's one of the things that for me specifically, I set it to be on my vision board for 2020 to be one of the things that I do with my husband. Like, again, we're always busy and there's no time to do anything. And we're always like going on to the next thing every day, and like having those routines, right? Because we already have our routine. So making sure that every month, at least once a month, we either, even if it's staying in, but we go out and spend time with each other, or, go out to dinner, go watch a movie, where we sit down and talk about those things that, may be bothering us, or just talk about the future. So just make sure you get at least once a month, you get together, you do date nights where you go out and you just focus about your relationship and each other. Or, if you have obviously, like if you have kids and maybe you don't want to go out and you feel a lot better just staying home and staying in, just do like internal, like in-home date night. Like those can be done. Like you can cook for each other. You can also watch a movie at home. Like there's a lot of things you can do at home without the kids, of course, like if you find someone to watch the kids for you.
Mm-hmm. So adding to that, I'm just thinking, Jatna, I don't have date nights, so I do desire them. But I just got a jacuzzi that my husband built in our bathroom. I finally cleaned all the dust. So I'm thinking, I was thinking last night, I want to create that into something new in our relationship. So something fun, and say, he likes drinking wine or beer, so put some wine or beer in that next to that jacuzzi, and let's just have fun. So I'm thinking that's gonna be one of my date nights. So yes, guys, you don't have to go out. My husband's not the type that likes to go out. He is out of the home all day, so when he gets home, that's the last thing he wants to do. So I'm sure many of you have partners that are that way, that work outside the home a lot, and they just want to stay in. So be creative, think outside the box, and just look at what brings joy to them.
Yeah, yo creo que acomodar, I guess like you just have to accommodate to your significant other and what they, meet in the middle, I guess, and see what you both like doing, so that maybe you can alternate that. Like that 1 month, yes, you stay in because obviously like your husband works a lot outside of the home and he's never home, and so he would want to just spend more time at home. Then yeah, you have your in-home date night and you do those things. But if it's something that like the next month you want to go out and do something different, then just convince him and try different things. Just make sure that you schedule that though, because it's very important to spend that time with your significant other. And then I think another thing is that, guys, there's like this, obviously, like a lot of you probably know about this, like millennials specifically. Pinterest. There's a lot of ideas out there. Like if you have no idea, you're thinking about like, oh, I want to have a date night. But if you want to go out and you don't want to just do the regular, like, movies and dinner, like there's a lot of other ideas. Like if you go to Pinterest and you look for like date night ideas, like it gives you, I can guarantee you that you're going to find a lot of posts and ideas about how to have a date night, like that it's not the movie theater or like having dinner, where to go, like a hike or just like a mini night travel or
dancing. Girl, you have fun and you work out. Bonus.
There you go. So there's a lot of ideas for out, external, like going out date nights, or just internal, like some things you can do inside. So I think I saw a post on Pinterest that the blogger I was looking at, she was providing a lot of information on like here are 20 ideas, or even 12, because I think if you like a monthly date night, then you have like 12 ideas like combined for if you go out for a date night, or like if you stay in. And she gives you a ton of ideas, like you can do this, you can do that. So take advantage of those things. Like go and research. If you have no idea what to do, just go and find yourself some, search that. You put that on Pinterest. There's a lot of information there, and just like take advantage of that and, do one of those. And that would help a lot, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, so ahí las dejamos para que disfruten alguito, una cosita de estas en este año, en el Día del Amor y la Amistad.
Thank you. Thank you for joining our episode number 1, which was our introduction and some tips and tricks for keeping your relationship alive, basically in 2020. Have a good one. Adios.
Ciao.